Hello. Thank you for taking time to listen to the public involvement meeting presentation for the Wisconsin 32 project in De Pere. My name is Eric Witt, and I am the Wisconsin DOT project manager. Here's a quick outline of the presentation I'll be giving. We'll first discuss the project team, then we'll discuss the project status and timeline, the need for the project, project improvements, next steps for the project, how you can stay informed, and upcoming business coordination. Here's our project team. Tom Buchholz is the region director. Tim Rank is the project development manager. Mark Cantola is the communications manager. Andy Falser is the project supervisor. Eric Witt is the project manager. The city of De Pere, who will play a large role in the project. And finally, Mead and Hunt, who are the design consultants on the project. Before we talk about the current planned project, let's take a quick look back to discuss the past corridor study that was conducted but then halted. That project was ongoing during a transition in a WIS policy change on how the state funds and determines projects. This was done to comply with federal highway policies. Under the new policy, projects being scoped are more data-driven than previously. The new policy puts more emphasis on trying to properly schedule projects to maximize pavement life. Pavement condition is a major factor in project determination. The Wisconsin 32 pavement data showed there was service life remaining in the current pavement structure if general maintenance continued. Therefore, the project was canceled so we could get the most life out of the current pavement before replacing it. Many projects around the state were affected by this policy change. However, the corridor study did provide good information and recommendations that can be used on this project. This new project will further investigate 8th Street and Fort Howard intersections for improvements. There were some items that were investigated but will not be investigated any further. This project will not investigate changing traffic patterns downtown. The city concluded this was not desirable. Also, an item that was investigated extensively in the study was the railroad bridge. Its replacement is outside the scope of this current project. First and foremost, it is cost prohibitive and would not provide enough benefit to justify the high costs. Furthermore, the railroad owns the bridge and is not interested in replacing it and has no plans to. Additionally, the past corridor study concluded adding a lane only slightly improved traffic flow. Also, adding an eastbound lane would have impacts to Fort Howard and Main Avenue intersection that would work against any added benefits. For example, the added lane may require a signal at Fort Howard intersection, and that may reduce capacity of any added lane. As you can see here, we are very early in the design. Currently, we are working towards a signed environmental document in the spring of 2024. Then final design can begin with utility construction in 2027 and road construction in 2028. The project was kicked off this last summer. Some early data collection has already begun. As we work towards a final environmental document, we will continue data collection, investigations, and gather input from stakeholders. Over the next year, we will refine the alternatives to determine the final project scope and impacts. We will have another public meeting in late 2023 to discuss the final scope. Wisconsin 32 is a connecting highway. A connecting highway is defined as a local street that carries state highway traffic. The city is responsible for maintenance of this section of road. Connecting highway state aids help to maintain the road. The city will maintain the road after the project. The entire project is within the City of De Pere connecting highway limits. No change to limits will occur as a result of this project. Also, being a connecting highway means the city is responsible for 25% of the project design costs. The overall project limits will vary depending on project impacts and the alternative chosen. This display shows potential limits, but is not the final limits. The need for the project is to address pavement deterioration, aging storm sewer, and upgrading curb ramps to ADA compliance. Other needs include upgrading the 2 at-grade railroad crossings, addressing aging utilities, investigating operational needs at 8th and Fort Howard Avenue intersections, and upgrades to bike and ped facilities where feasible. There are 3 alternatives proposed for this project. A no-build alternative would continue with general maintenance. The pavement replacement would replace all pavement from back of curb to back of curb along the corridor. Storm sewer repairs and curb ramp upgrades to ADA compliance would be included. This would result in some sidewalk impacts. The 2 at-grade rail crossings would be evaluated for safety, signal, and crossing improvements. The city may choose to fund other improvements on the corridor. A full reconstruct is similar to pavement replacement, except it would replace pavement and sidewalk within the entire existing right-of-way width. In addition, the road profile and alignments and drainage may be modified. The city may choose to fund other improvements along the corridor. Difference between the two is what occurs behind the back of curbs, which is based off the project impacts and city participation. Regardless if either pavement replacement or full reconstruct alternative is chosen, the funding responsibility doesn't change. However, some of the elements may overlap depending on what the final scope of the project is. A lot has to be determined yet on project impacts. Project impacts will help sort out what is DOT funded and what is city funded items. The project has 5 different cross sections. We will go through each unique section and the proposals. These are available on the project website also. The cross section between 8th and 7th Streets has existing substandard lane widths of 10 feet. It is desired to have 11-foot lane widths with the traffic and truck volumes on the corridor. We propose to increase all the lanes to 11 feet. The grass terrace would then decrease width to 8 feet. The cross-section width is tight under the railroad bridge. The existing lane widths vary. 1 eastbound lane and 2 westbound lanes exist. A few options are available to improve lane width and pedestrian safety. At this time, we have 3 options. Option 1 would adjust current lane widths to make them all 11-foot lanes and keep the sidewalk as it is today. Option 2 and 3 would eliminate the sidewalk, shown in red, and widen lanes to match the approach lanes widths of either 11-foot or 12-foot lanes. Each option would provide different offsets from edge of lane to the bridge abutments, also known as lateral clearance. Pedestrian safety has been raised as a concern near the bridge. Our traffic counts show limited use. Pedestrians would reroute down the existing sidewalks, shown here in cyan. None of the options get enough width for 4 lanes of traffic. We want your feedback on eliminating this sidewalk. Improvements to Main Avenue between Fort Howard Avenue and 3rd Street would eliminate the extra pavement that exists. In the past, there was more through lanes that have since been eliminated. 2 through lanes, parking lanes, and a bike lane would remain. By eliminating the extra pavement, the terrace would increase by 2.5 feet on both sides. The proposal for Reed Street is to keep the cross section the same as it is today. The 3rd Street area is proposed to be a resurface with curb ramp upgrades to ADA standards. No other changes would occur as this section is newer. There are some intersection and multimodal improvement opportunities. We will need to update curb ramps to ADA standards. Other items to further review are to provide marked crosswalks and bike lanes where feasible. We will look further into curb bump outs and dedicated turn lanes. So what are the next steps? We want to gather input from all stakeholders on this project. Over the next year, we will finish investigations, refine the alternatives, determine impacts, and determine the scope of the project. During that time, we will continue to coordinate with local stakeholders and the city. Next fall, we will hold another public meeting to discuss the final scope. In the spring of 2024, sign the environmental document and then we'll begin work on the final design. There is a design website created that provides project information, contacts, and resources. The materials from the public meeting will be posted there. Several methods to provide project comments and feedback are also in the webpage. WISDOT's In This Together Business Coordination Program has been around for many years. 2021 marked a new chapter for the program as department staff launched a coordination guide pictured here you'll find at wisconsindot.gov/together. Tips, tools, and resources such as worksheets on project timelines and the various questions you might consider asking to ensure. For example, you have a firm understanding of the project schedule, temporary directional signing is in place, any detours or parking needs to be communicated to customers in a timely fashion. Also, you've built an internal quality control process where a committee of staff from the outreach, communications, and project sections will come together to review case studies and make recommendations for process improvements. WISDOT believes the success of any project should go hand in hand with the greater continued success of communities we serve. Business coordination is highly important in the process. We cannot always promise a tailored solution, but we do always strive to be attentive and help coordinate around issues or concerns that may arise. We ask all businesses to check out this new In This Together resource and planning worksheets and to continue to work with us on questions as they arise. If you have further questions, please reach out to us by email or phone. My contact information and marks are provided here. Thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.